for Tuesday, the 21st of February. I'm Stephen Ridgway. So today is Shrove Tuesday, so hopefully you will all be enjoying pancakes. I know I certainly will do. But in the meantime, here are some things that I've come across recently regarding cybersecurity. It appears that Microsoft's spam filters have broken. So, according to reports from an increasing number of Microsoft customers, Outlook inboxes have been flooded with spam emails over the last few hours. Okay, not in itself a huge issue, so long as you are reasonably good, or your users are reasonably good at identifying spam. Irritating, but bear in mind, a lot of spam these days is not the obvious rubbish. There are some, quite reasonably formatted spam emails. So if you are relying on Microsoft's spam filters, presumably Office 365 and so on and so forth, just make people aware across your organization that there may be an excessive amount of spam. If people are assuming that spam filters are working, there will be an equal assumption that the vast majority of things coming through into the actual inbox are not spam. If that changes, there is likely to be trust put in anything in the inbox which would be misplaced under these circumstances. So if you're really paranoid, you can you change the safe mail, safe senders settings, and so on and so forth. But there are questions as to whether that's actually working at the moment as well. So undoubtedly, Microsoft will be working flat out to get this fixed. Their reputation depends on being good at this stuff, and they frankly normally are. So it may in fact already have been fixed, but certainly yesterday this was going around. So a Norwegian police agency with an absolutely unpronounceable name, sorry if you're Norwegian, has announced the seizure of about just under $6 million worth of cryptocurrency that was stolen by the Lazarus Group in March 2022. They have invested a great deal of time and effort into tracking where the money went, or where the when you say money, where the cryptocurrencies went, and have been able to follow the cash via a long period of it lying dormant through to movements through various exchanges in an attempt to launder the money. It demonstrates two things. One is, if you think that the authorities, actually it's one and the same issue, but looking at it two different ways, there's an assumption that cryptocurrency is kind of anonymous, which is just not true. Everything about where the coins have been is tracked in the ledgers, so it's actually probably the most traceable of all forms of payment. And yeah, the police are beginning to realise this. I think it's fair to say that a lot of police forces have been underfunded from the perspective of cybersecurity or cybercrime investigation, but it has been changing over the last few years. And yeah, this demonstrates quite clearly that if the law enforcement agencies want to track the money, they can track the money. The other one is, it raises another interesting question around the traceability of cryptocurrencies as national governments forge ahead with cryptocurrencies. How much do you really want the government to be able to see and do with your money. Yeah, interesting one that. I know where I stand on that one. But well done to the Norwegian police agency, which has got a name that is something like Okorim, but probably isn't pronounced like that at all, for recovering that money. More information is slowly coming out about the attack or the long-standing compromise of GoDaddy. It does appear that the attackers have been undertaking a multi-year campaign. It is a sophisticated actor group, i.e., people that clearly know what they're doing. Certain things we do now know. Some of GoDaddy's source code has been taken. Not sure how useful that'll be, but it has been taken. And also, it appears that the attackers, excuse me, that the attackers have undertaken things like redirecting customer websites on occasions, or using customer websites to host malware. So, if you host with GoDaddy, definitely recommend making sure that you are pulling in traffic logs and various other bits and pieces from GoDaddy into your SIEM. Look for the usual stuff. Anything that doesn't look right needs investigation. Nothing particularly exciting there. Websites are, if you can compromise a website, that's very useful from attackers' perspective. Gives you the means to distribute malware, make changes. To, not all of it is about defacing by a long way. A lot of it is about installing. If you're running e-commerce, they'll install a shim in front of your payment platform, that sort of thing, or simply host other stuff in the background off your servers. Various sorts of attack that are useful. Long-standing attacks like these demonstrate a particular level of perseverance and intent. So good that it has now been spotted. Not good that there are indications that they may have known about this for a while and have been chasing the attackers around their infrastructure, which I read in a particular article. But so if you host your websites on GoDaddy, definitely look to check them out and make sure you've got good security information being ingested into your SIEM from them. Final bit of news that I came across, an article from Bleeping Computer, shows that it's talking about the Hardbit ransomware looks to steal your insurance details as part of a ransomware attack in order to work out how much the ransom should be. That is definitely a good negotiation tactic on the part of the attacker. If they know what your insurance is likely to pay up, they know that you're going to be a lot less concerned about committing to that, or at least in theory, because it won't be your organization that picks up the bill, it'll be the insurance company. We've actually seen a couple of instances of that going on. So this is in fact more widespread than any one particular group. I think they all have a look to see if they can find it. So takeaways from that one is do make sure you are securing your insurance documents, especially your cyber insurance documents, because if they're made available, that will then encourage made available. If they can be accessed via a breach, that makes the negotiations much easier for the attackers. The other thing to bear in mind is that increasingly cyber insurers are nervous about covering ransomware costs because they're aware of this issue as well. So don't just assume that your cyber insurance will cough up if you get hit by ransomware. Look in the small print, and also make sure that if there are any conditions that you have to fulfill in order to be covered, either won't cover negligence, won't cover this, won't cover that. If your cyber insurance says, you must have X kind of defenses or Y kind of visibility, and so on and so forth, make sure that you do follow those rules. Otherwise, your insurance may be invalid, as they like to say. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thank you for listening, and I will speak to you again tomorrow.